first off, congratulations on the film. I just got a chance to watch it and enjoyed it.
Great.
Why don't you kind of set the scene for us and let people know, describe a little bit about the plot of 18 and a half and how your character fits into it.
Yeah, so it's about a transcriber who works in the White House named Connie Lashley, who discovers a tape which she believes has the 18 and a half minute gap recorded on it. And so she meets up with journalist Paul Merrow at a little cafe in the middle of relatively nowhere. And they then try to figure out how to listen to this tape. And then it kind of all goes off the rails from there.
Yeah, and hilarity ensues. Talk a lot. There's a lot of fun scenes in the film. Talk about one or two of your favorite ones and why they were special for you.
I mean, I love the first scene in the diner when Paul and Connie meet. I think it's a really fun scene, and I think that it's also, one of the things I really love about the script is that it's such a kind of, condensed. It's one day, less than one day, almost only one location. And that first scene is a very long scene. And it was just a really fun challenge because a lot happens. There's a lot that's said. There's a lot of kind of setting of the stage. And John Magaro is such a great actor. So it was such a fun thing to get to do with him. I also love the I don't know if you can call it a fight scene, but the fight scene at the end, which I won't spoil too much, but it's just shot in a really creative way. And this is certainly not an action movie, but there is a degree of action at the end. And I think, Dan really approached it in a very interesting way, especially given the time constraints and shooting constraints that you have when you make an indie movie with this kind of budget. And, necessity is the mother of invention. And I think that there's some fun stuff that certainly came out of that on this shoot.
Yeah, talk a little bit about that. I know that Dan Mirvish is one of the creators of Slam Dance. What did he bring to it as a director that was maybe different than other directors that you've worked with?
I mean, Dan is a very chill dude. He is very much down to collaborate, and I mean, it was a great sort of communal making art together in a very low budget way. And I find that always really exciting because everyone's just there to make a thing that we think is cool and that we believe in, and that's not always the case. And we all end up staying at that motel that we shot at, and so it also kind of had like a summer camp sort of quality to it. We would like wake up and like go to the dining hall to get breakfast and then like go shoot some scenes. And so it's really fun when you all are just kind of like in it together, making a thing together, and it has that kind of
Feeling
homegrown quality.
Yeah. Can you point to a particular scene or thing that you guys collaborated on that was meaningful for you?
I mean, in all honesty, I mean, every single scene in the movie, I think that, whenever you're working on a set where you're not just like hustling to make a day and somebody has exactly what they want to do already in mind, rehearsals are where you kind of find what you're doing. And there were some scenes where just kind of like out of necessity, we were running out of daylight. And so we kind of realized that we were going to have to shoot the scene in basically like a one shot, one take-ish situation. Like the scene where John and I come out of the office and have that little aside in the like breezeway. That was that was like a pretty much a one shot. I think maybe they did some sort of reverse just so they could cut in between two takes. But it was, you know, at that point, it's kind of just all about what you're finding with the cameraman and your scene partner. And it's really fun to play in those kind of moments, because you don't, you know, when you're shooting a big television show or a big movie, that just happens less often. And so it's always like a fun sort of test of your abilities.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Did you feel like you needed to immerse yourself at all in that history of the Nixon Watergate period?
Yeah, I mean, Dan Murvish and Dan Moya both had done a ton of research about, you know, the actual 18 and a half minute gap, the, you know, all of that clearly in the writing and prep process for the movie. I was given all of that information and obviously read it, but I think I was most interested in, as an actor, kind of looking at what Connie's world would have been like in the 1970s as a transcriber, what she was thinking and feeling socially, politically, et cetera, at the time, because I think there's some interesting conversation and scene stuff about that in the script. And then, you know, we were really lucky that we were kind of shooting in this time capsule of a motel, that, you know, it was already felt like you were in the 70s. And we had a great, you know, costume. Sarah, our costume designer, is incredible. And, you know, I always find that a good period costume really kind of helps you just feel really in the correct time period.
Yeah, yeah. So this must be interesting for you, because I know you've just done Reacher, which I'm assuming is a very big budget affair. What's the contrast like for you to go from something that's like that big to something that's, you know, a lot smaller?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just, they're two completely different beasts, and they come with their own sets of challenges and benefits. And I think that one thing that I really just love about making an indie and making a smaller film is just the intimacy of working on that set. It's just a much smaller crew. And there is kind of a sense of everyone just like being in it together, because none of us are getting paid really. And so it's like, it really is a just like a kind of a community experience, which I come from theater, and I think that it, you know, for
Yeah.
me, it's something that feels very familiar and very lovely about that kind of experience of making art.